Blessings, everyone. I am here today with a true leader when it comes to self-mastery and tapping into that beauty from within. And I would like to just take this time to have some fun and introduce to you all, if you don't already know her, Renée Devereaux. I'm sorry, I'm going to pronounce it with a little bit of a French accent. It is a pleasure to have you here with me to have this conversation to inspire people into what it is to bring the quantum field into business and what that means for future leaders who are curious about working with skincare, frequency, and self-empowerment and self-mastery. So Renée, if you don't mind giving us a few of your words of wisdom, introducing yourself and over 40 plus years of experience, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Well, thank you and bless you. I'm so delighted to connect with you once more because it's always a joy. We always have fun, we always laugh, and it's just a wonderful occasion for me. So thank you. And well, I don't know where to start other than my private practice that I love. I've been doing it for so long. I started it when I was so young. The, the core of the whole business was resolving my own personal traumas. Yes, there was something that I needed to work through. I needed all the help I could get because I felt so homely, so ashamed, so on and on. And I knew that to be beautiful, there had to be something from within. I knew very early that it wasn't about creating from the outside. I had a sense. I read a very transformative book when I was when I was quite young, The Picture of Dorian Gray. And that is what led me into knowing that, yes, it's the beauty of the soul that you can be, beautiful on the outside, but the inside is what the picture portrayed. The inside was the picture of his soul, and the crimes that he had committed were shown on the portrait because that was what he was truly about. Consequently, I totally accepted it. And because I was raised around some really ugly people, I wanted beauty. I wanted beauty, and it had to be the right kind of beauty. So I developed my career, my philosophy based on traditional Chinese medicine, New German medicine, total biology, you name it. Everything had to connect with emotions and how they play out in the body and how you can either transform them so that you release the the blockage of energy, which may display in wrinkles or frown lines or whatever. Consequently, I did transform little by little. And yes, even though I had some serious illnesses, little by little, I was able to master them. And so here I am at this time honoring one of my passions because I became a licensed esthetician. You see, I was serious about beauty and I wanted to do everything to help myself and my clients. So if they needed a facial, if they needed skin cream, I would create it. I would formulate it. I had the background knowing the ingredients that were correct and on and on. So I was working from the inside and also on the outside. I wanted the transformation because a lot of people felt badly about how the way they looked. And of course, we all want transformation here and now, right now. Do it. So,
Yes, unfortunately, that's the world we live in.
yes,
We
it
want
is.
it now, the quick fix.
So I was going to do whatever. So yes, I became a licensed esthetician, which I still hold because, as I say, it is one of my passions. And so little by little, my business evolved. I knew then, I discovered very soon that even though people had good intentions about correcting their habits and changing their eating, because eating it definitely is a component, that's the beauty from within, the building blocks. So I was a nutritionist. That was my first um, step into the holistic field. And I could see that people couldn't do it just from discipline. And I felt that there was either an interruption in the flow of energy. Why couldn't they honor their commitment to themselves? So I became a therapist. And that was that was a key. That was a key in transformation, to get to the subconscious, to be able to switch that thinking that says I can't, or I'm whatever conclusion the brain has made, and usually it happens very early in life, the different traumas. And they can be major traumas, but they can also be smaller traumas. The bullying in school, the people laughing at you. I remember being laughed at. I hadn't been in this country very long, and my accent, and sometimes I still have trouble with my O's, pronouncing bottle as opposed to battle. So kids laughing at you. And because I was very sensitive, and some people are as sensitive, they don't acknowledge it. But that laughter can hurt you. It really does. Can leave an imprint. And it's stuff to work through. So the traumas, they can be huge, as abuse or whatever, child incest or whatever, down to smaller ones where you're bullied or made fun of, or mom doesn't have the time to work with you or look at your painting or your drawing, and you take it personally because we as children, the world revolves around us. So at any rate, that was a huge step in my career, and I sustained that, as I say, in private practice for over 40 years now. And in the background, always, the formulations, the skincare, and so on and so forth. And then magically, I discovered this bioquantum skincare. And let me backtrack a little bit, because a friend of mine had mentioned Scalar to me many years ago. Brilliant, brilliant man. And of course, knowing him, and I was like mesmerized by the philosophy, or by the energy that he was intending to work with. And then he actually brought it into some kind of form, but it's still, a lot of people are skeptical about scalar. So here's the words already in me. And then I discover about quantum products, skincare. And I see that scalar frequency has been brought in. And I thought, oh my word, I've got to know what this is. I've got to know just where we go with this, because this totally resonates with me. And if they can bring in frequency into a skincare product, I want it. That
Yes.
was it. That was it. Okay. So, and because I am again obsessed about ingredients and so forth, I found the ones, the essential oils, the activator, the skincare cream, the mask, that in my humble opinion, do forgive me for this, but for me, they're suitable as far as ingredients and so forth. I feel um, more than comfortable. I feel, yes, this can actually help, because what you apply to your skin is going to impact the rest of your body. The skin is an organ. I learned that very early in the game. It is an organ, and there's a transmission. You see, it takes in, and it also expels. So we have a living organism that's going to be working in two directions. I want to provide it the best possible products so that the products themselves don't interfere with the function of the skin. And that was my main issue. That's why I started formulating my own products way back when, because I learned that the products on the marketplace were pretty horrible. They were actually poisoning people. My gosh, how can you put that on your face? You know, the brain is right there, and it absorbs. I mean, your skin absorbs and it's circulating throughout your entire body. So that was the basis why I started formulating. And now with the scalar, which I feel is definitely a step up in what I can offer, because again, I have handpicked select items that I feel will really help, not just on a physical level, but also on an energetic level. Because here, the word quantum, to me, it had been brought into play as a spiritual teacher and coach, which I am certified. And there is something energetic that we have to work with, and it's called the quantum entanglement. It's the energy from our spirit that we come into this world to untangle. That quantum entanglement is in the soul. It is something that has been perhaps carried on from one incarnation to the next. It's also in the DNA, because our ancestors, and for some of us, especially some of the ancestors, were into some kind of negative practices. Let's face it, our world has been what it's been. And here we are in this now moment where we can transform, when we can take responsibility for that quantum entanglement, disentanglement, or disentangle it in this now moment to be truly free to express ourselves. And yes, my book, that's where I come from, in this freedom and empowerment through entrepreneurship, because we all have it in us. We have this divine spark for self-expression that, that's the ultimate. That's why we're here. It is your ultimate expression. Only you can express yourself as you, not as a copy of someone else, not as, anything being influenced by the ancestors or whoever, you see, by the traumas. No, this is you, the clear, beautiful spark that is, oh, is that, I keep quoting that poem because I can't resist it. Is the peace of God that is within each of us. And, that always makes me emotional. That makes me feel like, yeah, that's what we're about. It is, it's the radiance. That is the soulful radiance that I have been seeking, and not just for myself, but for every client. And who knows, perhaps through that, with that, is rejuvenation possible? I feel it is.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Let
I
us
couldn't agree more. And I feel that you just described the human experience in such a beautiful and eloquent way. Thank you so much for sharing that, because essentially that's what, as far as from the level of consciousness that I'm holding, that's how I see it. We come into this reality, this world, and we're trying to make sense of it all. And then this entanglement happens, and I call it the disentanglement clearing karma. getting into alignment. And why is there this disentanglement? It's our programs and all these traumas. We're operating through these programs, through these wounds, trying to find balance and harmony within self, which is that piece of source intelligence that is within us all. And we can't activate it and ascend into our highest selves and discover what it is to be the advanced human if we don't find that harmony. So that's why like polarity and duality is there, and all these things enter our world to push us back and sway us back into balance so that we can ascend. And it does, like you said so beautifully, it's through, yes, it's through the mind, but it's also through the body, and it requires both ascending mind body, and then you can go into your soul and ascend and assimilate with your highest self, and then who knows what's possible.
Oh, exactly. But that is the key right there, that so many people, and there are many, well, yes, practitioners, and I'm sorry if it sounds like judgment, but it is not a head trip. This is not a head trip. It is to be experienced in the body. It is absolutely your energy, your physicality, and consequently, for me, the idea. You see, a lot of people have come to me because they feel badly, and maybe we talked about this before, that they're seeking perfection, and I know that intuitively we know that perfection is available. After all, we are created in the image of God. Consequently, perfection exists. We
It
know it.
does.
We seek it. We want it. We go about it in distorted ways. We have surgeries. We have Botox. We have fillers. We have all kinds of stuff that will really distort our looks if allowed, because we want the perfection. I say, yes, it is available. It truly is available. Your soul, you innately have been seeking it. So please let us forgive ourselves and one another for the perfection that we have been seeking in, let's say, erroneously in different ways, because the only true perfection is through the purification or the cleansing of ourselves, not just in the physical cells, the body. Yes, that's where nutrition comes in, clean living, but also clean thinking. How do you embody that Christ principle or that image of God that we are created from? So you see,
And we're learning that it's possible through frequency, and I can attest to that as somebody who had like, I'm no stranger to plastic surgery, I'm going to admit it. And yes, there's accidents that happen. I had jaw surgery and nerve damage happen, and
yes.
I've accepted that as part of my journey, and I'm grateful that I have I have part of a lazy mouth. It's shown me the beauty in the imperfection. And then as I started to ascend in frequency, as somebody who used to escape, I'll be honest, I used to escape through alcohol during my traumatic years, and that was part of my journey. And if I haven't had all these hard times and grown through it and done the shadow work and really worked from within, just like you, Renee, how can we lead and inspire somebody else if we don't know what that entails? And it really is through frequency, because when we can hold those higher frequencies, as somebody who's obsessed with chasing a high, I've learned that through
Mhm.
frequency and tapping into our essence, claiming it all, and really owning and harnessing and then sustaining that source of energy that is only truly authentically yours, that is part of source, that we truly start to see and observe the world through the eyes of perfection.
Exactly. And I just want to say something about drinking or whatever. We all acquire coping mechanisms. And in my 40 whatever years of practice, there's nothing I haven't heard. There is
No.
nothing I haven't heard, whether it's a sex addiction, whether it is chocolate, whether it's whatever it is, it's a coping mechanism. And this is why I wrote that
Or
first
even
book.
drama. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. But that was the reason for my first book, The Ultimate Love Affair, because it's like, yes, being able to look at oneself, taking responsibility that, yes, that is, or that is still a coping mechanism. And can I love myself enough to change it? You see, because that is, again, the frequency that we're looking for. The scalar or any frequency will enhance that sense. If you are planting the seed of love within you for you and who you are and every flaw that is there, plus all the, let's say, misdeeds that you might have done in this lifetime, well, it's okay. You see, again, coping mechanisms, we have lived in reactivity, and many are still in that mode. So here again, I ask for a deep breath. And by the way, breathing is a way to elevate your frequency.
Oh,
We can talk about that
I've
another
done some
time.
transformative work just through breath work. I hear you
Yeah,
100%. And I love you. You tapped into the key. The key truly is self-love.
it really is. It
You
really is.
need, and it isn't selfish to love
No,
yourself.
no,
And for all those who are still not ready or still want to escape into their habit, the message that I feel is really impactful is that's fine. If you want to go down that road, that's fine. If it's working for you, that's fine until it isn't. If that is the experience that you choose to have while you are here in this lifetime, and if you want to play it over and over and over again on repeat, then go for it. This is an invitation for those who are like, I've played that story out over and over again. I'm done with it. I don't
Mm,
want to do this circle anymore. I really want to step into something
mm,
new.
mm.
And there is an out. And like I share with even my daughter, is at first is recognizing that program, recognizing the loop, and then asking for the loophole.
Correct. Absolutely. Because you will have a reply if you ask,
Mhm.
if you sincerely open your heart and you just put yourself out there. And I can't tell you, I've lived on my knees. Yes, I prayed because I know I'm not alone. And I know that there are energies who are supporting with me, who are supportive of me. I mean, how could I have lived the life I have without that support? I mean, I wouldn't be here. And
Thank you for saying that, because
yeah,
if we really are going to speak of the quantum fields, it is everything. And
it
it
is.
does start from energy and it moves into form. And this is what we are exploring. What is new form? What is this new human experience that we can create, because we are constantly co-creating with the universe, and it starts with energy. And that's why looking at the energy that we're holding and expressing outwards is so important, because that is creating your own personal universe. And if you want transformation, it starts from energy, and it starts by waking up to the truth of the energy, the energetic patterns that we're holding, and then connecting to something, whether it's a teacher such as yourself. This is why it's so important that more and more leaders start to step up and start to share all their wisdom, because more and more of humanity is going to start to wake up and say, I'm done with that experience. I want more. Where do I go? Where do I start?
Vital. And I'll just add, that a component that has been missing from our society and for a long time, probably from our civilization, is a little bit of humility, the willingness to ask for help, because we all need help.
Mhm.
And, it's like at one time or another, yes. And if you call that prayer, fine, whatever, call it what you like, but be willing to admit that, okay, I'm really kind of stuck right now. I need help. Who or what is going to help me? How do I find my way out of this ditch or this hole or this whatever? But yeah, to be humble enough to
Yeah.
say, okay, I'm there. I really like I'm at my wits' end. I think I better get some help. Where it's going to come
And there's
from.
no shame in that. Let's be honest. Everyone goes through it, okay?
All
It's
do.
called that pride pill is called the death of the ego. And there's nothing wrong with it because the reality is we're always changing. Our identity is always changing. And the person you once were isn't going to be the person you're becoming. So just stand in your truth right now and say, okay, I'm ready to shift. Let's make a change. And if it starts by just saying yes, then that is a great place to start.
And just acknowledging, frankly, our society is ego driven. Let's face it, because
Newsflash.
yeah, it's like, oh, okay, I want what she wants, I want what
Mm,
they want, what they have,
mhm.
blah, blah, blah. The ego wants what it wants when it wants it, and it will take you to your grave thinking that it's, or having you think that it is correct and that you are right no matter what. Please, again, a little bit of humility and the acknowledgement that that ego can drive you to your grave being correct, being right. And there's so much more. So the question for me is, what do you want to commit your life to? It's like having the ego master you, govern you, your every thought, your every move. Or do you want the higher aspect of you, that divine spark, the 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 truth of you to emerge? And this is where, yeah, I get very emotional because to me, it's like, is there really a choice? I mean, really, when you it's like when you acknowledge your critical, or you own your critical thinking, your power of reasoning and rationale, is there really a choice as to who you want living your life? So with that, I think.
Well, I love what you just said also because you just depicted the illusion that we're living in. We talk about the illusion and we can understand it intellectually, but you just laid it out in how this really does play out in our current reality. We're
Mm.
chasing rainbows, we're chasing things, we're looking for things outside of self. That is the illusion. That is the loop of chasing something, the end of the rainbow that you can never attain it. So you'll
No,
forever be chasing it
and
like a
that's
dog to a bone.
Leanne, the truth of the matter is that especially women, we've been programmed to think that life has to be this way, marriage and children and this and that, and that's good and well if that is really what's there for you, and for some it may not be. So to get to your truth, that is where I request an opening. Like, okay, what is it that you want to connect to? The beliefs from our ancestors and by the current culture get embedded in the DNA.
Mhm.
And my question again, who do you want running the show? Your ego or the higher aspect of you? That's
I love that. So I'm going to answer that question because you asked it. What is my truth?
it.
I am obsessed with the new human and what that means. And through my journey, what I've learned, if I can harness this joy, inspiration, these higher frequencies of manifestation, being alone in my car, being alone in my kitchen with the basic needs that are met and find that joy and tap into it and play in this beautiful frequency, then allow all these frequencies to come into new form, now that is stepping into that role of magician, and that is exploring what it is to be a new human. So I've been doing this for about a year, really like I'm going to say religiously, even though I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person, which is two very separate things. And I'm allowing things to unfold in my life. So I'm hoping to be able to share with people how that is transpiring with time, but it does take time, and it takes trust.
Yes.
It
It,
takes hope
Mhm.
and a belief that all things are possible.
And I I do want to address something you just said. And you said new human. Well, what I want to bring forward is that no, it is not a new human. What we're wanting to manifest and embody is really the ancient doctrine of what? Socrates, Aristotle, that philosophy, because it is about principle, it is about morality, it is about being your total self. Yes, he was executed for those beliefs. Yes, but you see, it is not new. It is what we intuitively know.
It's
This
our innate being. I love that you brought that up.
innate being. So it's not a new human. It is what we're becoming conscious that is there in our soul. It's the being that is you, that you're wanting. So, yes, it's a new form for you, it's a new form for me and everyone else. But nevertheless, it's about the consciousness of bringing it, living it. You see, not just talking about it, because I deeply resent. I'm sorry, here I apologize because, yes,
No,
I really, when people talk a lot, and there's a lot of practitioners, and believe me, I'm thinking one in particular right now, uh, who is
don't say their name.
who who is in private practice now, but there's such a disconnect between the person she's portraying and the philosophy she's speaking, you see?
Mm.
So there's a disconnect. So what I'm wanting, again, is that word integrity, alignment, mind, body, soul, so that everything connects. And that, in essence, yes, is what you're speaking about, the new form, the new human, but yet it's who you are, truly.
I
It's
love that.
your being, your essence. And those are the words that bring tears to my eyes because we know it. We know it. It's our conscience, you see. And that's what our civilization has wanted to disconnect from. And I'm here to remind you no, no, not while I'm still breathing.
Well, this is why I love speaking. We'll probably be going on for hours. We'll probably have to start a little bit end soon. But this is why I love speaking with you, Renee, because you really do bring it back to what is truth.
What is real? What is real,
Well,
really,
what is
for all
truth
of us?
really is. What is real is always evolving depending on the level of consciousness that we're
Mhm.
holding, right? But when you spoke of this, that made so it did spark something in me. And the new human is only new because we haven't seen it through observation in this lifetime. But you're right.
Exactly.
At the end of the
Exactly.
day, who we are is divine perfection, and
Yes.
this is the journey of tapping in and turning on and activating our 100% potential, and that really is going back to source.
And that is the new way of being.
Mhm.
See? So it's not a new human, it's the new way of being, living, embodying the essence that is there, that gives you life, that gives you, yes, life. I mean, what is more precious? So
Nothing is more
not,
precious than life.
yeah,
Force energy is everything. So with that,
yes,
there's so
I think
much.
it's enough.
So I hope that this sparked some life into anybody who is listening to this message, because it starts from that spark from within, wanting a little bit more to tap into that innate frequency that is there and available and accessible to all. And if you don't know how to access it and turn it on and light it up and let it build and expand, then it is through people such as Renee, that we can go to, because you hold so much wisdom and knowledge, and you've been committed to this work, and you continue to be, and it's what drives you and propels you always towards your greatness. And I love that about you. So I hope that people do reach out to you, and your website is it's reneedevereaux.com.
That is correct. And it's
So
DEVEREUX.com.
.com.
Renee.
Beautiful. And then Renee can activate that intelligence from within, and even experience some of our DMT activations and facials, since she is certified in it, and start to connect the importance. I would say, and I'd like to hear what you have to say, but I would say the first place to start really is starting to live in the truth of the frequencies that you're holding, and starting to understand what that is. What is your home frequency? And start to connect to how that shifts throughout your day,
Mhm.
depending on the programs that you start to run into throughout your day. It starts through that level of awareness, and really connecting to, okay, I am an energetic being. I can shift my frequency. I'm noticing it shift throughout my day, and then I go to bed and I get up and I do it all over again. And it takes us away from the story, and really starts to connect us to that personal journey of our own energy.
Absolutely. And this, in my work with people, yes, I have a sheet where um, they can log exactly how they're feeling at different hours, you see, because it is all a matter of consciousness. So in this moment, am I feeling depressed? Am I feeling sad? Where am I in that scale? Because the longer I can hold the frequency of whether it's joy or love or peace, harmony, any of these, they hold the frequency. So where am I in this moment? Am I holding some kind of thought from yesterday's exchange with blah, blah, blah? So
Exactly.
it's all a matter of being aware. Where are you in this moment? Again, the physical component, not the imagination, not in the head, but where am I in this moment? What's the sensation? Am I really bound tight? And see, again, how conscious do you want to be? Where is the tension? Is it in my belly? Is it in my neck? Where? My head? Ooh.
Exactly. And then step two would be, okay, you're aware of all this. And step two would be, okay, how can I access these frequencies without relying on a conversation or a person, and start to explore, okay, what that is. And there are tricks and tools, just like
Oh,
the products and
yeah.
meditations, and the using visualization. This is where the imagination comes in, and then start to explore, okay, what is that? And that's how we start to tap into the world of alchemy, and how you
Oh,
can
word.
transform your reality just through these beautiful magical tools that are
Oh,
available to us all.
and there's endless. For me, for me personally,
Yes, here.
I can I'll dance, just start moving. And I do teach, I call it dance artistry, because it isn't, it's not like you're going to dance, you're going to start connecting to your body and moving from there. So the somatic experience is essential. So, and I can attest to that because I am a dancer and have always been way, way back. And consequently, for me, it's one of my keys, one of my tools. And of course, I've experienced many throughout the years, but fundamentally, wow, dance. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that just lights me up because that happens to be one of my favorite tools as well. So I look forward to one day you and I just
We're gonna
connecting to
dance.
music and we're gonna dance and feel that vibration throughout the whole body because it truly is a magical experience when we can connect to the artist. I,
Hmm.
I I keep seeing Bob Marley in my mind. I love him and the messages that he shared and inspired so many and how he really connected to that vibration, and that's why it was felt and heard by so many because he truly connected to the energy behind every note, every pitch, every word, every instrument, just magic.
Absolutely. That's the alchemy.
The alchemy. Well, with that, Renee, this was a true delight. I love speaking with you. I love spending time with you. I honor you for all that you have done, all that you are, and who you are becoming. I see your essence. It is so big and bright, and it's an honor to be collaborating with you.
Well, thank you so much. I so appreciate your time and attention, being, able to share information with you, your audience, and hopefully, I'm available. I just love, again, my passion. My passion is my work. My work is my passion. What else can I say? That's been my life.
Beautiful. Well, thank you.
And thank you. And we will talk again.